Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Innal hamdalillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. May yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa may yudlilhu fala hadiya lahu. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu la nabiyya wa la rasula ba'da. Today I'm gonna present about my presentation about Japan. Before I start the presentation, let me introduce myself. My name is Zaki Fawaz Aryadi. I am the student of IDN boarding school at 10th grade, majoring in software engineering, and I was born in 29th of March 2004 in Jakarta. And if you want to know if you want to know about me more, you can search me in social media. I have 3 social media. You can search it whenever you want. And next is the concept. The first is Japan and its location. And I'm gonna tell about the meaning of Japan and where Japan is. Then the culture of Japan. There are many Japanese culture that are worth to be exampled in our country. And the third is the samurai. It is a member of a powerful military castle in feudal Japan. And then the ninja is an assassin from Japan who is dark and full of mystery. Then is delicious food from Japan. Of course, I'm gonna make you hungry with my many delicious kind of Japanese food. And then is the traditional sport. And let's just begin the first concept. So what is Japan? Japan is an island nation in East Asia. Japan is called Nippon or Nihon. Japan is called Nippon or Nihon. The word Nippon and Nihon means the land of the rising sun. And this is a preview of the national Japan flag. It is rectangular white with a crimson red circle at its center. And this flag is officially called Nishoki, the sunrise flag, but is more commonly known in Japan as Hinumani, the circle of the sun. And next, where is Japan? Can you guess where Japan is? So here is Japan. It is located in the Pacific Ocean. It lies off the eastern coast of the Asian continent and stretches from the Sea of Okhotsk in the north to the East China Sea and the Philippine Sea. And maybe it looks small in this photo. Let's run the view from the satellite view. There is about 97% of Japan's island area is on its 4th largest island, that is Hokkaido, Honshu, Shikoku, Kyushu, and Okinawa. And there is 128 million people live in Japan, and that makes Japan its 10th most populated country. And next is the Japan maps. So as I said before, Japan located in the Pacific Ocean. It lies off the eastern coast of Asian continent and stretches from the Sea of Okhotsk, and it lies in the Northeast Asia Sea and the Philippine Sea in the south. And in the middle, there is a Sea of Japan. In summer, there are many fish gathered in there, searching for the warm water. And the fishermen in the summer is very lucky because the profit of the fishermen is up. And then Japan is divided into 47 prefectures. Each prefecture is chief executive directly elected governor, whose members are elected for 4 years term. There are 5 biggest islands of Japan. Start from the north, there is Hokkaido and Honshu, Shikoku, Kyushu, and Okinawa. And there are 10 biggest cities in Japan. It's Tokyo and Nagoya, Osaka, Kobe, Hiroshima, Fukuoka, Kagoshima, Kyushu, Yokohama, and there's many more. And I'm gonna explain just one of the biggest city, that is Tokyo. So Tokyo is a capital city of Japan and is held as a prefecture. Tokyo City is the name for Tokyo and several cities in the surrounding prefectures. As the largest metropolitan area in the world, Tokyo has a population of more than 30 million people. The word Tokyo means the East capital city. To is East and Kyo is capital city. Tokyo, the first, is called Edo. The mean is estuary. Why? Because there is many rivers is surrounding Edo. We can look for the map in here. So this is the Edo era, start from 1869 and its end in 1943. In this era, Tokyo was known as Edo, a small castle town in the 18th century until 1943, and the name was changed to Tokyo. There was a conflict between the generals about the changing names, about the rebuilding Edo Castle into the Tokyo because of the disaster. And next is the modernization era. It starts from 1943 until now. This is a picture of Street Ginza in 1932 and Akibahara in 1890, and this is the look now, Street Ginza now and Akibahara now. There's so much different. And the next is Japanese culture. There are many cultures in Japan, but what we have to take, for example, from Japanese culture is the disciplines, innovation, like to read, never give up, and many more. For Japanese people, time is money. Time is money is their principle. For them, time is everything because we will not be able to return time. They always arrive early when working, and they also prepare overtime rather than go home early. And Japanese people are also known as economists. This can be seen from the way of they try to save the daily life and make life more productive. Moreover, women and men in Japan is usually shopping half an hour less before the store is closed, which apparently the store and supermarket in Japan will usually give up to 15% of discount when half an hour before the store is closed. And Japanese people also like to read. Because of the love of reading, they usually spend their free time with reading, even when the visual is also even in the visuals. And the first culture is kimono. Kimono is a traditional Japanese clothing. The meaning of kimono is cloth to wear. Ki means wear and mono means goods. Today kimonos are shaped like the letter of T. like a long sleeve and collared coat. The coat belt called obi and is wrapped around the waist and is tied in the back. Low kimono made up to ankle. Women wear kimono shape of dress, while men wear kimono shaped suits made from the dark material such as black, brown, and dark blue. And the next culture is geisha. What do you think when you first time call geisha? Is it scared because of because of the white face? Maybe yes. Because when I first time saw geisha, I get a bit scared because of its white face. A common question among the visitor is, why do geisha put the white makeup in her face? This is a trend in the past. Geisha wear thick white makeup so their face can be seen in the dark area, especially when they want to entertain nobles. Geisha are traditional Japanese artist entertainment. Geisha were very common in the 18th and 19th century, and they still exist today, although there are not many. And some people misinterpret geisha as a people who carry out prostitution, even though this is absolutely not true. Geisha itself actually has a respectable status. But during World War II, there was a decline because most women had to work in factory or other place to help the country in war. In addition, women who work in the prostitution began to refer themselves as geisha and to American soldiers, and that's why that makes the misunderstanding spread. And the next culture is tea gathering. The tea ceremony is literally translated as wake of the tea. In Japanese, it's a cultural activity involving the ceremonial preparation and presentation of tea. Tea gatherings are classified as an informal tea gathering and a formal tea gathering. An informal ceremony is a relatively simple course of hospitality and include confection, thin tea, and perhaps light meal. A formal ceremony is a much more formal gathering, usually include a full course and meal followed by the tea. And a formal ceremony can last up for 4 hours. And the next culture is manga. Manga, or better known as Japan comic, is a medium where there is a collected of images that contain stories or variation of type. In general, manga is printed in black and white, and there are several components that are painted in color. In Japan, manga is usually printed in magazine that's the size of a telephone book. This is an example of a manga from fairy tale. I personally do not really like the manga. I rather watch the anime because I'm easily get bored when I'm read books. The next culture is anime. Anime is a Japanese production that displays the result of the picture, begins with hand or computer animation. The term anime is an observation language from the English language animation. This is an example of an anime. There are many anime from the old one until now, but these are the old one anime. But don't get me wrong, this anime is old but gold. Actually, there are many old but gold anime like Rurouni Kenshin, Boku no Hero, Sailor Moon, and Detective Conan, and Pokemon, and many more. But these are the most popular old anime from the first series until now. They are Dragon Ball, One Piece, Inuyasha, Naruto, Bleach, and Fairy Tail. Dragon Ball is created first time by Akira Toriyama in 1984, and the last episode is at 1995. There are a total of 291 episodes, and it has been finished. And next is One Piece. It created by Eiichiro Oda, and the first episode is released in 1997. And the total of the episode is 906 episodes, and it is still ongoing until now. And Inuyasha is created by Rumiko Takashi. It's the first episode is start in 1996 until 2008, and there is a total of 191 episodes, and it has finished too. The next is Naruto, created by Masashi Kishimoto. It starts from the first release episode is from 2007 to and the last episode is at 2017. It have more or less about 720 episodes, and it has been finished. And next is Bleach. It's created by Noriyuki Abe. It's written by Noriyuki Abe, and the first episode is at 2004, and the last episode is in 2012, and it has 366 episodes, and it has been finished. And the last is Fairy Tail. It's created by Hiro Mashima in 2009. It has 329 episodes, and it's still ongoing until now. And that is the last culture. And the next I will explain about the samurai. The samurai of Bushi were the warrior of the pre-modern Japan. They later made up ruling military that eventually became the highest ranking social castle of feudal period. Samurai employ a range of weapons such as bow and arrows, spear and guns, but their main weapon is a sword or katana. Samurai were the military nobility and officer caste of medieval and early modern in Japan. They were trained as an officer in military tactics, but now they can be seen every day in life and in modern Japan martial arts. And this is the weapon of samurai. First, it's katana. Katana is a Japanese sword characterized by a curved single blade with a circular of square guard and long grip to accommodate two hands. It was used by the samurai of Asian at feudal Japan. And the second is yumi. Yumi is called a bow in Japan and is usually used in the practice of Kyudo and Kyujitsu, or Japanese archery. The yumi was an important weapon of the samurai warrior during the feudal period of Japan. It shoots Japanese arrow called iya. The yumi is especially tall, standing over 2 meters, and typically surpass the height of the archer. They are traditionally made by laminating bamboo, wood and leather, and using technique which have not changed for centuries, although some archers may use a synthetic yumi. And the next is ninja. Ninja or shinobi is Japanese. Ninja or shinobi is literally means someone who moves in secret. It's a feudal spy in Japan, trained in the art of jujitsu and ninjutsu. obey their own unique rules called ninpo. According to some ninjutsu observes, a ninja expertise is not modern but infiltration. Ninja cross from the Japanese language which reads nin, which means to infiltrate. So a ninja's special skills is to infiltrate with or without sword. Ninja are usually immediately associated with skilled martial arts figures, as experts who infiltrate and completely mysterious as seen in anime or manga. The word ninja is formed from two words, namely nin and sha, which mean hidden and personal. Ninja has a weapon in various type and shape and size. The weapon that is usually used is katana, and it's often placed off in the back of the shoulder, and throwing weapons such as small knife, shuriken, kunai, and smoke bomb. So a smoke bomb is a field of eggshell with sand and metal powder, and usually also red darklings, which serve to blind the opponent. And next is the Japanese food. The first one is sushi. Sushi is a Japanese food consisting of rice that is formed with side dish in the form of seafood, meat, and raw or cooked vegetables. Sushi rice has a soft sour taste because it is mixed with seasoned rice vinegar, salt, and sugar. Sushi actually served with a small plate of wasabi. Wasabi is a native Japanese plant from the cabbage tree that is processed and eaten together with Japanese cuisine, such as sashimi, salmon, sushi, and many more. There are several types of sushi, including nigiri, norimaki, gunkan, and many more. This is for the example of the nigiri sushi. This is the genki sushi, gunka sushi, and this is for the nori sushi. So the nigiri sushi is small rice balls with fish and etc. on the top, and there are countless variety of nigiri sushi. Some of the most common ones being tuna, shrimps, eel, squid, octopus, and fried egg. Norimaki sushi is a sushi rice and seafood rolled in a dried seaweed seeds. There are countless variety of sushi rolls, differing in ingredients and thickness. Sushi rolls, prepared inside out, are very popular outside of Japan, but rarely found in Japan. And then is gunka sushi. It's a small cup made of sushi rice and dried seaweed filled with seafood and others. There are countless variety of gunka sushi. Some of the most common ones being is sea urchins and fresh skin of fish egg. And the second food is tempura. That is a piece of lightly battered deep fried seafood and vegetables. It introduced to Japan during the 19th century by the Portuguese in Nagasaki. Tempura has developed over the country into a popular Japanese dish both inside and outside of Japan. Tempura can be found in many types of restaurants across the street. When it's commonly served as a main dish, set this as a topping for rice bowl or noodle. And the third is takoyaki. Takoyaki is the name of the food from Kansai in Japan. In the form of the small ball with a diameter of 3 until 5 centimeters, made from flour dough filled with octopus piece in it. Now takoyaki has been adapted to Indonesia. The shape is similar, but the feel has been changed to suit the taste and content of the Indonesian people wallet. And the fourth is ramen. Ramen is a noodle dish that was originally imported from China and has become one of the most popular dish in Japan. In recent decades, ramen are inexpensive and widely available. Two factors that also make them an ideal option for budget travelers. Ramen restaurants can be found in every corner of the country and produce countless regional versions of the common noodle dish. Ramen are eaten with chopsticks, and which are usually available at the table. And a Chinese style spoon is often provided as well to help with small toppings for drinking this and for drink soup. It is also alright to lift up the bowl to drink the soup directly from the bowl. Ramen noodles get soggy quickly and should be eaten immediately after they are served. As with other noodle dishes in Japan, a slurping sound is made when eating. The slurping enhances the flavor. The slurping enhances the flavor and helps cool down the piping hot noodles as they enter your mouth. At the end of the meal, it is alright to have some unfinished soup in the bowl. You do not need to drink the whole bowl to polite, although it is considered for a compliment to the chef. And the fifth is mochi. It is a rice cake traditionally from a steamed and pounded glutinous rice. They are traditionally eaten on New Year, but have become a popular dish throughout the year. Rice cake commonly filled with rice bean, but there are also another flavor like chocolate, strawberry, and others. Rice cakes are prepared in variety of ways and may be eaten fresh, grilled, fried, or served in soups like dumplings. And the last is sashimi. Sashimi is tiny sliced raw food. It is one of the most famous dishes in the Japanese cuisine. Seafood is most commonly eaten as sashimi, but other types like beef, horse, and deer, and foods such as tofu and konnyaku can also be served as as sashimi. Some people confuse sashimi with sushi. Sashimi dishes are available at many type of restaurants, and the slices of raw food are often present arranged atop of a bed of the shredded giant red radish and garnished with sisal leaf. At some restaurants, the rest of the fish is sometimes present alongside the sashimi as decoration. And the last is traditional sport. So there's karate, sumo, and kendo. So karate is a martial arts that originates in Japan. Kara means empty and te means hand. And the two kanji together means empty hands. This martial art is likely influenced by the Chinese martial arts. Karate was brought into Japan via Okinawa and began to develop in Ryukyu. The martial arts was called Tote, which means like China boxing. And there are three basic character exercises. The first is Gihon. It generally consists of standing, punching, kicking, and tackling in stabling techniques. And two is kata. Kata is a technique practice of karate is flower. And the last is kumite, which is sparring. Karate also has a level. The level is different by the belt. To get the level or position, we are required to take a belt exam session, which takes place every 4 months. For this level, it is divided into white belt, yellow belt, and green belt, light belt, dark blue, purple, brown, and the last is black belt. And the second is sumo. Sumo is one of the most famous and well known of the Japanese sport. Sumo is essentially a wrestling sport, but the rules are a bit different from the Western style wrestling. Usually, the match usually begins when both wrestlers put both hands on the ground and ends when the player is pushed off the ring or any part of their body other than the sole of the feet touch the ground. The match also will end if any sumo wrestler loses the belt around their body, as the wrestler becomes disqualified when that happens. And the third is kendo. Kendo is a modern martial arts from Japan that uses sword. Kendo comes from the words ken, which means sword, and do, and which means way. So the overall meaning of kendo is a path or process of self-discipline that forms a brave and loyal samurai personality. Kendo combines elements of martial arts and sport. And so maybe just this all about I can explain. I'm sorry if I have all the mistake. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.